Goalkeepers, nervous strikers, they'll deliver. Crowd roars erupted, you can feel the quake. 80,000 voices.
Hello there, and welcome to the channel, and welcome to the show. So, like I said, in today's video, as you can see, we're here to sort of react to and respond and give our opinions, 2 cents about, the World Cup qualifying squad that was released a couple of days ago. Some names there, expected, like Victor Osimhen. Some names there, a bit shocking for me. I don't know what you think about it. And then, of course, some names I expected to be there are not on there. And of course, I was also hoping to see some new faces, new names added to it. So let's just go straight into it. So I'll bring up that list right now. And so this is the list right here. So we can see goalkeeper Stanley Wabali. As expected, no issues with that one whatsoever. I think everyone is fine with that. Amaso Basuke. Fair play, he's there. Adebayo Adeleye. Now the interesting one for me is Harcourt, Ebenezer Harcourt, a young goalkeeper, 15, 16 years old. He played for under 20. I think he was pretty decent as well. And one of the reasons Nigeria didn't get to the final of the under 20 AFCON was because he was absent. He was very, very good. And hopefully it's good to see him in and amongst the team, getting that sort of getting tuned with team camaraderie, team spirit, and all that stuff. But I don't expect him to play. I think some people wonder, why do you have him on there and he's not going to play? He's not going to have any minutes. I think if you remember the World Cup USA '94, R9, arguably one of the greatest player ever to play football. Ronaldo Nazario de Lima was on the bench, was in the squad, but he didn't get to play. So sometimes it's important to have, these young players in and around the squad, these young players, getting the feel for what it means to play for the Nigerian Super Eagles and not necessarily being under that pressure to start. Please. And not being under the pressure necessarily to start. So I get why he's on there. So that's fine by me. And then you go to the defenders, William Troost-Ekong, captain, he must and should start. I know a lot of people have been going on about, his sort of role in role in the goal in that World Cup qualifying game versus Zimbabwe at home. Fair play, but he has been very, very good for the Nigerian Super Eagles anyway. So for me, I think it's a bit too harsh it's a bit too harsh for me to say you keep him out of the squad because of that one mistake. And definitely you need that experience. But that being said, I still think Nigeria do need some new faces in this defense. I was expecting to see William Troost-Ekong, and sorry, I was expecting to see Tosin Adarabioyo in this team, but this is becoming a saga which I don't really care for. If you're going to play for the country, play for the country. Nigerian Football Federation, if you're going to get a player to play for the country, get it done. Getting a bit tired of the cloak and dagger, or this sort of 007 type things. Because for me, I think he's a good player. I really, really rate him highly. Although a lot of Chelsea fans, some Nigerian fans don't quite like Tosin Adarabioyo, but I do really appreciate the player. I think he is immensely talented. He's immensely gifted. I think he's at the right age right now, because I think he's 27 right now. So he will bring immediately that experience into the team. He's 6'5", so he brings that size as well, in personality and physically as well, into the team. So that's something that I think we really, really need. And especially since William Troost-Ekong has indeed come up to say, look, this AFCON is my last AFCON. And that goes on to mean that the World Cup, if Nigeria does qualify, would be his last World Cup. It may even be interpreted to mean this AFCON is his last tournament to be in. So you don't want him to, you don't want the team to get old at the same time. You don't want him to get age and out of the team, and then you're looking for that leadership. So that's why, for me, I think William Troost-Ekong Tosin Adebayo should have been on this list, should be seen as a name that should have made this list. So other names as well that I'll get to talk about, like Odogu, David Odogu should have been on here as well. We talk about Alexander Makandali, although that's a bit dicey because he's torn between Italy and Nigeria. So that's a bit. And then we go on to Calvin Bassey. Fair play, Calvin Bassey. For me, I've warmed up to him. Wasn't really impressed with him in the early days, but as time has gone on, the way he's played for Fulham, the way he's played for the Nigerian Super Eagles, and the versatility he's shown, for me, definitely just means he has to be one of the first names in the squad, at least, if not in the starting sheet. So super happy that I'll have Calvin Bassey on there. And then the next name, do we even need to talk about it? Really? Do we really talk about it? Ola Oluwa-Aina, one of the best right backs in the world. I think in the Premier League, you may say it's a toss-up between him and Reece James. And this is including if you keep Trent Alexander-Arnold, though, who's gone to La Liga, even if you say Trent Alexander-Arnold is in the league, I think the best right backs in the league right now in the Premier League are Ola Oluwa-Aina and Reece James, because they give you both things. What you want from your defender, what you want from your right back. You want the ability to go both ways, attacking wise, bombing down that right side, putting crosses into the box, making life difficult for the fullback on the other end, and then as well being very good reading passes coming in between the lines and being able to defend 1v1 as well. And that's something that Ola Oluwa-Aina gives you in spades. So, but the thing for me is with Ola Oluwa-Aina is the drop off from him to the next guy is just too massive, in my opinion. I know a lot of people who are fans of Bright Osai Samuel will disagree, but I just feel like it's clear the drop off from the number one guy, which is Ola Oluwa-Aina, to Bright Osai Samuel is too steep, it's too wide, it's in fact a giant chasm. So for me, I think Nigeria should begin to look for right back options, in my humble opinion. And Bright Osai Samuel plays in the Championship. Good move for him. He's left Fenerbahce in the Turkish league. Now plays in the Championship for for Birmingham City with their huge ambitions to gain promotion to the Premier League. So the pressure will be on him. So I think that's a good place for him to be in. I think he's decent, but he's nowhere near the level of Ola Oluwa-Aina. And sometimes he gives you those lapses in concentration. I just think that can cost Nigeria. And I have to say, we have to start looking for right backs. And get what I mean? Ola-Aina is 28 years old. So by the time the World Cup comes around next year, he'll be 29. And then by the next World Cup, he'll be in his 30s. So that's not something you don't want to plan for. And that's one thing that the Nigerian Football Federation has got wrong a lot of the time. Planning for the future. And even for the World Cup itself, if Nigeria does eventually qualify for the World Cup, you need a solid number two. In fact, you don't need a number two. What you need is a number 1A and a number 1B. So you need players that maybe if there's a drop off, it's like a 1%, 2%, maybe at most a 5% drop off, as opposed to a 10, 15% drop off in quality. That's something you don't really want. And then Bruno Yemachi, for me, top class, one of the most electrifying most electrifying left backs, in world football, not just in Africa, in his space as well, how he can bomb down that left side. I think he gives balance, and that's one thing I want to see from Eric Chelle. I want to see that balance. I want to see Ola-Aina on the right. I want to see Bruno Yemachi. Abiodun Akindele, how you doing? Thanks for joining the show. Keep your comments coming and all that. So thank you thank you so much. I love doing this, and I love having you guys on here as well. So what are we thinking about what we're talking about so far? The list we have: goalkeepers, Stanley Wabali. We've talked about Amaso Basogi. We've talked about Adebayo Adeleye, Harcourt Ebenezer, a youngster. We all know probably he's not going to see any minutes. And I'm fine with that 100%. He gets to get a feel of what it means to be in around, the big boys, so to speak, get to be around the senior professionals and learns how to carry himself. Talk about defenders, William Troost-Ekong, fair play. A lot of people have some issues with him being there, but fair play, he has to be there. He is the captain. He's rarely put a foot wrong, apart from the game versus Zimbabwe. Dr. Calvin Bassey as well. Fair play, he has to be in there. Perfect for me. Aina, there's no need to talk about it. He just has to be there. In fact, if it's not there, you bond and just hold this down. He's so good, he has to be on here. And then Bruno Yemachi, top class, top class. And my one issue is this with Eric Chelle. He did something pretty needless, pretty useless, and something that really affected the team, in my humble opinion. You had Bruno Yemachi on the bench. You had Ola Aina. Common sense would have been Ola Aina to right back, Bruno Yemachi at left back. Boom, let's go. But what did he do? No. I'll keep Bruno Yemachi on the bench. I'll take Ola Aina, play him out of position, and then I'll play Bright Osai Samuel on the other side. For me, that was pretty pointless. There was no point to doing that, in my humble opinion. So I'm hoping with the list that we're seeing right now, we have Ola Aina come the game versus Rwanda, in Uyo, Ola Aina on right back, and Bruno Yemachi at left back, or Felix Agu at left back. Because that's one thing I want to talk about, the left back slot right now. The left back position is properly in order. That's the way you want it. Because the difference, drop in quality between Felix Agu and Bruno Yemachi, I don't even think it exists. I don't even think there's a drop in quality. If maybe there's a drop in quality, it's a 1% drop or 0.5% drop, in my opinion. So that's what I like to see. So Eric Chelle going into that game, I don't want to see any sort of Star Trek type of machination. You want to try new this, new that. You want to have your goalkeeper playing as a striker. No, none of that. None of that at all. So Bruno Yemachi or Felix Agu should start at that left back spot, in my humble opinion. And then as well, Chidozie Awaziem, well, he's on the list, fair play. He just made a move back to European football. He's now with Nantes after leaving Cincinnati and Cincinnati team in the MLS. So good to see him back. And he's on the list. Perfect. Fair play. And then, of course, my man, Igor Ogbu is on here. Now, when you talk about the centre backs that's in pairing, of course, William Troost-Ekong, and then you've got Igor Ogbu. I think they would make a fantastic pairing, or Calvin Bassey and Igor Ogbu. If you want to go super athletic, you want to play with a super high line. So if you want to play with the high line, you go with Igor Ogbu and Calvin Bassey. You don't go with Troost-Ekong. If you want to go high octane, high pressing football, play with a crazy high line, then you have to go with Igor Ogbu and Calvin Bassey. Except you want to play with some sort of sweeper, then Troost-Ekong comes in there. So, and then this name, Benjamin Fredericks, I don't know how many minutes he would get, but the time he got playing the Unity Cup, he was fantastic in my opinion. He really played well. He really played well there, in my humble opinion. So I think if he gets some minutes in either game, I'll be fine with it, especially the Rwanda game. If Nigeria can start the game on fire and absolutely put them to the sword, probably 3-4-0 towards the end of the second half, then he can come in. Though I say this, I would happily take a 1-0 win, take a 1-0 win and then move on to the next. We know the punishment for South Africa, we're still waiting for it. We don't know what's going to happen. I don't know why it's taking FIFA this long, because we have precedents. There has been precedents with this. We have precedents. 2018, Nigeria fielded this Zaidu Sanusi, or was it Abdullahi Shehu? And what happened? 3 points got deducted from Nigeria. So the same thing should happen here. I don't get what the whole looming. We're tired of looming. It's about to happen. South Africa fear the worst. No, it's clear. There's nothing for you to decide. They made that mistake, right? the South African Bafana, South African Football Association, they made that mistake. They made that error. In playing a player that's not meant to be there. Whether or not they would have won, with him being on the team or not, is immaterial. The law is you play a player that is not meant to be there. You have 3 points deducted from you. You have 3 goals awarded against you. So that should be it, really. That should be it, in my humble opinion. And then we go to the midfielders. We've got Alexander Iwobi. I'm sure there's a name there that you've spotted it if you've been watching this channel. If you've been watching this video, watching my videos, you know there's a name I'm going to complain about. You've already seen it. You know I'm going to complain about that name. But let's go on. So Alexander Iwobi. So Iwobi, nice to see Iwobi on the list. Though I've had my misgivings about Iwobi, like I said, Iwobi, I like him. It's a nice, tidy addition to have on there. But is he the one that's meant to be primarily the creative force in the team? Let's see how that goes down. Now, if you want to play 2-10s, as Eric Chelle has done, he did in the club, in the Unity Cup. He also did in the previous qualifiers. If you want to go with 2-10s, then maybe you play him alongside Samuel Chukwueze as 2-10s behind your striker. Or maybe you want to do Ademola Lookman there as well. That's a question for us to answer. I would like us to talk about this in the chats, in the comments. Now, would you want to see his hybrid with lone 6 and then 2-10s behind the striker? Or let's just go traditional. Go the traditional Nigerian formation. Go 4-3-3, 2 flying wingers, one aggressive, dominant number 9 in Victor Osimhen, and then you have Ademola Lookman on one side, Samuel Chukwueze on the other, as opposed to this 2-10 business. Because if you want to play with 2-10s, you get 2-10s in the building and play that way. And then Frank Onyeka, fair play, he should be in the team to give you that steal, to give you that robust play in the team. Fair play to have him on there. And for me, I was more intrigued to see this formation that he wanted to play, this 4-3-1-2, where you would have had 3 central midfielders in your, for instance, you would have had Chrysanthus Uche, you would have had Frank Onyeka, for instance, and Rafael Onyedika would have been your 3 central midfielders. And then you would have had your 10, in this case, maybe Ademola Lookman, and then you have your 2 9s. And those 2 9s, Victor Boniface and Victor Osimhen, would be a very good pairing in that regard, because I think Victor Boniface really requires being close to a 10 or being close to another number 9 that he can do fill off of, he can link up with to really see the best of him. That's what I think, in my humble opinion. And then, of course, we go down the list to Al-Hassan Yusuf. My God. What is he doing here? So people will not like this, but for me, it's what is he doing here? What is he doing on this list? First off, he plays in the MLS. And with due respect to the MLS, it's not the greatest league in the world. It's not the best league in the world. We're talking about competitive league. Now, he's played 33 games in 3 seasons. 33 games. But I don't get what he does there. And for me, Al-Hassan Yusuf, because sometimes, every now and again, you have a player that doesn't play in a top level league, but each time he comes, to play for his national team, he's super special. I haven't seen that super specialness in him. I haven't. So that's why it is just mind-numbing to see him here, because one league he plays in is not the best. He's not like the dominant guy in that team, where he's the number 1 guy on that team sheet, where irrespective of the quality of the league, he's just the main guy, he's the boss. He bosses that league and is the boss of that team. He's not. So if it were one of those situations, then you could say, okay, I kind of see. Or he's not even the guy that comes in, irrespective of the league he plays in, and becomes dominant in the Super Eagles midfield. So that begs the question, why is he here? Someone should tell me in the chat why they think Al-Hassan Yusuf is here, or what they think he can do in the team. So that's just how I feel about this. So want to know what you think about Al Hassan Yusuf, being here. And then we go on to the rest of the list. We see Rafa Onyedika. For me, Rafa Onyedika should be here 100%. Definitely, he should be here. He is top quality, top class. He should definitely be here. Uh, Plays for Club Brugge. He's dominant in that team. He's one of the first names on the team sheet to be there. So fair play having him on there, 100%. And then Santos Uche, he's here. I'm happy that he's here. And why am I happy that he's here? One thing, of course, he's played well. He's a top player, for his club. So that's one reason I'm happy that he's here. And then I'm happy to see that he's placed as a midfielder, as opposed to this madness that some people come up with. He's a striker. No, he's not. He's not a striker. Michael Essien sometimes was played as a right back at Chelsea. He was never a right back. He was a willing player that was willing to do whatever the coach wanted him to do. And I'm sure Santos Uche would want to do that as well. But he's not a striker. He is a midfielder, a box-to-box midfielder. So for me, I don't. So you're right, exactly. So Abiodun Akindele says, you're right. The name Al Hassan Yusuf might be selected because of our quota system, Nigeria federal government. Well, you could be right. You could be right. But then again, that's the question I have. Even if it's quota system, even if you're wanting to have federal character, although I think football is not the place you do federal character with, but even if you want to, I'm sure there are midfielders, there are players that have quality, that are from that part of the world, that from where he's from. So you can get players who have actual quality, and they can do a good role in there. So I don't get it. And when I look at this, if I see your Rafael Onyedika, I see your Santos Uche, and then maybe Frank Onyeka, these three can play in that three-man midfield, and you play with Ademola Lookman in 10 row, and Victor Boniface and Victor Osimhen as your two strikers. That's something that I would like to see tried. I would like to see that experiment done. I would like to see that done. And then, of course, Wilfred Ndidi just signed with Besiktas, so in the Turkish Superliga, Turkish Super League, fair play to have him on there. But then again, I wouldn't say query, but the way I see Wilfred Ndidi having a place in this team is if he is seen as, a proper orthodox, old school central defensive midfielder. By that I mean someone who just sits in front of the back four, protect the back four, and sits there. But if you're expecting the super mobile, super dynamic central defensive midfield play, then he's not your guy. I'm sorry, he's not your guy. Now, there's a name I'll mention. Maybe he's not yet ready to be on here, but if you're looking for a player that would give you that dynamic central defensive midfield play, I would tell you that Charles Uba, he plays for Lillestrøm. Maybe he's not yet ready, but when the time comes, he gives you pace, he gives you skill that is very rare for central defensive midfielders, and he gives you that ball winning ability and ball carrying ability. So for me, that's a name you look for in the future. Maybe not for this particular game, not for this qualification cycle. By the next game, you look at players like that, in my humble opinion. If you're going to get Al Hassan Yusuf, maybe you should look to get that one in. And then we go to, and then before I move on, Santos Uche has been linked to move to Wolves. I think that would be a good move for him. Go to the Premier League, go to a stable Premier League club and thrive there. And it's a bit funny. Not a fan of Manchester United. Never liked them. I'm not afraid to say that on here. I really don't like them. But it's funny when you see Ruben Amorim wants to play this is 3-4-3 formation, and then which in that sort of formation you need absolute dynamic, robust central midfielders that can go box to box, that play like they have 12 lungs in them. And you don't consider Crisantis Uche, and you're looking at you're holding on to Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes. That are just absolute bonkers to me. Fair play, they were willing to sign Baleba for how much was it? 80 million, or they were at least looking to sign him, and Brighton were demanding north of 100 million pounds. Crisantis Uche, for some reason, is worth 20 million pounds, which is a little low for me in this era, but I'm sure Nigerians are used to everyone looking at us less, as we say. So, but I think that would have been an absolute steal for anybody that wants to play with that two central midfielders. It would have been an absolute steal for anyone, in my humble opinion. And so we move on to Fisayo Dele Bashiru, has been fairly decent for Lazio, so fair play to see him on there. So no major complaints about the central midfielders apart from Alhassan Yusuf, I must say so. Then we go to the forwards. So we start with Ademola Lookman. Now, fair play, love that he's there. Really, really see him as the most important and most influential player after Victor Osimhen. So happy days to see him on there. No worries, no quarrel about that, in my humble opinion. So fair play that he's on there. Yomi Yus says he is a great chap. Alhassan Yusuf, he sat in our last AFCON you watched before he got injured and we missed him. All right. Yomi Yus. Is it Yusuf? Let me see, just call you Yomi. Yomi, if that's the case, okay. Let's see what he brings. If he gets to play, fair play. Let's say he's improved beyond what I've seen in him. Let's see if he comes in and does improve and shine. But let's just see. He's played for the team, and one thing I'll say is, even if I'm invited to play for the Super Eagles, I won't turn it down. So it's an honor to always play for a country. So it's invited, fair play. He's there. Let's move on. So Ademola Lookman, he is the second most influential player, of course, behind Victor Osimhen. So fair play that is on there. But for me, it's just a little bit worrying since he hasn't sorted out his club issue with Atalanta and Inter Milan playing him about. It's just sad to me, super, super sad. And that's one thing that I want to say, because when Victor Osimhen had his issues with Napoli, people went on about, character. See, calm down. It's not about all this character. It's something about the way certain clubs view players from certain parts of the world. That's just it. And one thing as well I want to say to Nigerian players is, when you're signing for a club, when you're making that move for a club, look beyond your salary, what you're going to earn at that club. Look at your exit strategy. What happens if I need to leave this club? Whatever thing you need, whether you want your release clause to be 10 euros or 100 million euros, insist that it should be in the contract. Insist. Gentleman's agreement does not exist, especially when you're dealing with people that control the media. You're dealing with people that are more powerful than you. You're dealing with people that have the hearts of the fans, because the fans, they love their clubs no matter what. So if you follow with the club hierarchy, the fans will turn on you. So you can't rely on gentleman's agreement. Whatever thing you want, have it in the contract. If you want to eat amala newedu every morning, have it in the contract. If you want to eat egusi and pounded yam, have it in the contract. And then, so for me, fair play that is there. Love to see him that is there, because I know when this sort of games, you want someone to produce with assists, with goals, he will definitely be that. So let's go on to the other names, on the list. And then we've also got, going down the list, we've got Samuel Chukwueze. Samuel Chukwueze, nice to see him on there. He's been linked to Fulham. Let's see how that all shapes up. Nice to have him on there. And he'll be playing on the right wing, or maybe he'll play in this new kind of role that Eric Chelle has created for him, which would be to play behind, what's it called now? To play behind the striker. We play with 2 10s. And then Simon Moses as well, who just made a move to Paris FC. Nathan Taylor as well. So who's still available, so they get to play in that kind of role behind the striker, which is odd to me. Maybe they should play out wide, and let's see how that shapes up. But there's one name I have to mention. I have to mention one name. I did a video about him on the channel. Maybe you've seen him as well. And I've also said every good team, every good squad must have quality, must have 2 quality players for each position. The left back, that's sorted. We've got Felix Agu, we've got Bruno Yemachi. Sorted. Right back for me, a bit iffy. Olaina, top class, world class player. In my opinion, world class. But brighter side, some not too sure on him. So that's up. So when you get to that left wing position, Ademola Lookman, top class, number 1, he should always start, right? But then when you get to the second part of it, right? For me, I think it should be, you should have what's his face? Philippe Otele. He's put in the work. He used to play for Rwanda. He left. He's joined, Basel. His first season, he crushed it there. I think 9 goals and 6 assists or thereabout. And then this season as well, he started on the same vein of form. He's got 2 goals in 4 games. So he's on it right now. His skill, pace. I think he and Ademola Lookman should be 1A and 1B. That's the way I see it. Philippe Otele and Ademola Lookman should be 1A and 1B. So for me, Simon Moses, I know he's good. He's got his skills and all. Fine, I agree. But Philippe Otele should be in this team. But I'll say, okay, the list has come out. Maybe they're going to remove some names. Maybe they're going to add some names. But AFCON, in that AFCON, Philippe Otele must be in that team. He's just too good. Too good. And the things people usually used to talk about when you want to talk about new faces, he's not a kid. He's not 18, he's not 19, he's 26. He's 26. So he's right up there. Ready to step into his prime. And then his single nationality, by the looks of it, only Nigerian nationality. So you don't, are we going to try to convince him? No. Invite him and he's here. That's where I see it. Victor Osimhen, fair play. He should be on here. 100%. 100% he should be on here. So there's no argument about that. So Victor Boniface, of course, we know what has happened with Victor Boniface and the transfer issue with AC Milan fell through due to some medical issues and stuff like that. Now, I want to give some clarity. I want to give some, context to this medical thing. Because a lot of people, have run with this talk of, he failed medical. Boniface failed medical. Calm your horses. I know people just throw that word around to say he failed medical. Now, there are 2 tests. 2 tests that are part of the medicals. He passed both of them. But AC Milan, their staff, whatever, they got in touch with their consultants because they wanted certain assurances that those injuries would not reoccur. That's what they came back with, right? And they felt like they didn't get those assurances that the injury would not reoccur and whatever. Fair play to them. Fair play, right? But one thing I want to point out, there have been players that have reportedly failed medical. You've had Nicholas Jackson. Apparently, he failed medical with Bournemouth. But what happened? Bournemouth didn't sign him. Villarreal signed him, and he had a very good end to the season at Villarreal. And then he joined Chelsea. Now, he hasn't scored tons of goals like amazing strikers like Victor Osimhen, but he scored some fair amount of goals. But the important thing is, he's never really been out for that long due to injuries or anything like that. Of course, Nicholas Jackson has had his disciplinary issues and all, but he's never been out because of injuries. On the other hand, you've had the likes of Wesley Fofana. He passes medical, but in 3 seasons, he hasn't played more than 35 games. You go to what's his face? Remy Lavia, past medical, flying colors, but he hasn't played more than 24 games in 2 seasons and a bit. There was Samu Omorojan. Chelsea said he failed medical, but fair play, his scam came up immediately, put it out there that Chelsea wanted to buy his 50% of his image rights, right? After the transfer fell through, he went immediately signed by FC Porto and scored tons of goals for them. 21 goals to be exact. So this failing medical thing, I think people are taking it a bit too far. And one thing you have to know, the way the media sets out narrative is sometimes they hide the complete truth. So you go crazy with narratives. Because he didn't feel medical because they checked his knee and he couldn't move, or he couldn't take a shot, he couldn't jog, he ran out of breath, poor cardio. No, he actually passed the test. It's just those reassurances that they wanted from medical professionals to say it won't reoccur, which is crazy to me because if someone has had a knee injury, you can't say 100% those knee injuries won't resurface. You can't say that. Just like if someone has had a stroke before or something, you can't say, I guarantee you 100% that person will never have a stroke. It's impossible. So that aside, I just wanted to give some context about transfers and all that around Victor Boniface. So some people have misgivings about Victor Boniface being part of the squad. He hasn't scored for Nigeria as of yet. But I feel there are certain players who are absolute spirits, absolute crazy men in a good way, like DJ Drogba, madman. He doesn't need anyone. He's just by himself, lone striker. In fact, I think he preferred being that lone striker. Give him the ball, he takes it on his chest. He makes life difficult for the defenders. He scores goals. Like a Victor Osimhen can be a lone striker, put pressure on 4 defenders all by himself, and score tons of goals. There are players like that. But then you have players that they are very good players, very, very good players, but they need some sort of tactical switch to help them play their best. While Victor Boniface is still available, because last season and the season prior, he had Florian Wirtz close to him that he could play off of, lay the ball off to him, and things like that. So I think something like that would really help Victor Boniface. You can go with Victor Osimhen playing side by side, Victor Osimhen playing side by side Victor Boniface. I think that would really, really help both players, in fact, to play to their best, in my opinion, as opposed to what has happened a couple of times where Victor Boniface has been played as that lone striker. So I don't think he's that kind of lone striker kind of person. I think he needs 10s close to him, or to be paired with another number 9. And I think Victor Boniface and Victor Osimhen paired up together in that 4-3-1-2 formation, I think it would really, really work. So I wonder if Eric Chelle would give that a trial, if he would try to do that. But let's see how it all shakes down. And then going on with other players on this list, I see Simon Moses moved to his new club and he's cut his locks. Nice to see him cut his locks, but I just hope it's not a Samson kind of thing where his superpower vanishes with his locks being cut off. So fair play having him on there. The Boniface spoken about him. Fair play having him on there. Nathan Teller as well. I hope he doesn't pull out off this list because he's done it a couple of times. Unity Cup, he joined the team. And he was okay. It wasn't superb, in my opinion, and he still has a lot to prove. So, as he's on this list, he has a lot to prove, in my humble opinion. And then you got Sadiq Umar. Cyril Dessas. Okay, Cyril Dessas last season, he was the highest goal scoring Nigerian striker, or should I say, second highest goal scoring Nigerian striker behind Victor Osimhen. And so, fair play to have him on there. Always good to have as many strikers as you can get in the building. Sadiq Umar wasn't really prolific last season. If I'm honest, he wasn't super prolific. this season, there's a toss-up between Real Sociedad and Valencia where he would end up. I hope his future is sorted out really quickly. So having him on here, not super convinced, but let's see how it all shakes down. And then Tolu Arokodare. Tolu Arokodare, for me, he deserves to be on this list. What he did last season, he scored 21 goals with a 5 or 6 assists. And then going on into this season, I don't think he's had that many minutes for his club because they're all set for him to make a move. So that, what they're trying to do basically is protecting their assets. Because KRC Genk are one of those clubs that accept the fact that they're a selling club or they're a feeder club for the rest of Europe. With due respect to the club, they're always open to selling their best assets. So right now what they're doing is they're trying to protect the player whilst the transfer window is open, so that he doesn't pick up any injuries. If a club comes calling for a signature, he gets to go there. And incidentally, Napoli have come calling. They're trying to make contacts with different players to sign. So Tolu Arokodare is one of the names on the list and is valued in and around between 25 and 30 million euros, which is a bit cheap in this world where you've had a Sesko go for 85 million or 80 million pounds, 80 million euros, 75 million euros of those all guaranteed, fully guaranteed. It should be good for a lot more, but I look at clubs like Newcastle United, I think he can be a good fit in there. But Napoli, I know a lot of Nigerians are a bit skeptical about him going to Napoli given the way they've treated Victor Osimhen. For me, this is what I'll say. Antonio Conte is the striker whisperer. You want a striker to come good, you want a striker to hit form, you want a striker to score tons of goals, Antonio Conte is your man. I know modern football right now, we like people that pass the ball out from the back, the goalkeeper, it's expected to be Diego Maradona at the back. And those are the ones we see as top-class coaches, A-level coaches, right? But when it comes to making your striker score goals, creating opportunities for your striker to try, there is none better than Antonio Conte. We saw what he did with Diego Costa. We saw what he did with Lukaku twice at two separate clubs, and at Inter Milan and Napoli. So if he goes there and plays under Antonio Conte, I think he would absolutely smash it in Serie A. Probably could score 30 goals this season. So let's see how that all shapes up. But one thing I want to say, and this is what I'll say to any footballer that may by any chance be watching this, or if you have any relations, brothers, cousins, nephews, whatever, that uncles, whatever, that play football, right? This is the advice you give to them, or they should take if they watch this. When you're going to sign a contract with any club, right? Make sure, I've said this before in this video, make sure you include whatever thing you want. If you want to leave the club for a Premier League club, have it included in there. XYZ, if a Premier League club makes an offer of, say, 10 million euros, the club, Napoli SSC, should listen to that offer, should permit the club to have direct negotiations with the player. It should be there. Don't leave it down to gentleman's agreement. It does not exist. It is an aberration, that concept of the gentleman's agreement. It doesn't exist. Whatever you want, whatever release clause, whatever buyout clause you want, have it in the contract. Simple. I think that's the mistake Ademola Lookman made. Gentleman's agreement. Oh, we agreed on it verbally. No. A verbal agreement is hearsay, is I say, he said, she said, he said. The club said, the player said. So who said what? And who are the fans more likely to believe? The hierarchy, the club. They're most likely to believe in the club. So whatever you want, have it in there. So the same advice goes to Tolu Arokodare. If you're going to sign for Napoli, no issue. If Conte wants you, he will play you. No chairman, no owner will prevent Conte from playing you. If Conte wants a striker and that striker signs for him, nobody's going to prevent you from playing because he is that stubborn. He is that strong-willed. So that's it. So make sure you get the legal stuff. Make sure you get the contract sorted out. So Tolu Arokodare, fair play to have him on here. Terry Murphy, He's began the season, scored goals. Last season was out for a long time with injuries. Nice to see him on here. And then Terim, then Akko Adams. Nice to see him on here. Now, when you're looking at this list, now this is the big one. This is the tough part of it. Who would you want to drop off this list? If you had your way, who would you drop off this list? Who would you want last night? How are you doing? How are you doing? Now, who would you want off this list? Let me know. When I look at this, I'm guessing Ebenezer Harcourt maybe dropped off this list because when you talk about goalkeepers, he may be the one that misses out. And then when you look at the defenders, should anyone really miss out from these defenders? William Troost-Ekong should play, Calvin Bassey, Olaina, Bright Osai Samuel. Who else are you going to bring in right now to replace him? And Bruno Imachi, Iwobi, Chidozie Awazie may miss out. This may just be a bit too soon for him to be on the list. So he may be the one to miss out on this list. As in, will be for sure. He's not missing out. Frank Onyeka is not going anywhere. Alhassan Yusuf, if I was to take out the player, probably he's the one I take out. And then leave Fisai or Dilo Bashiru, leave Rafael Onyedika, leave Christian Uche in there. And then look at the forwards. Ademola Lookman, Samuel Chukwueze, Victor Osimhen. Of course, you don't drop in Simon Moses, Victor Boniface, Cyril Dessas. When you look at the names, maybe Sadiq Kumar loses out, or Accord, or Terry Murphy, one of those. When I look at the list overall, we don't really see names that should be dropped off. So, what are your opinions on this list? What do you think should be making this list anyways? And then what are expectations for the game itself? The first will be September 6th, I think should be in the Uyo Stadium against Rwanda. That should be a game Nigeria should be winning. In fact, things haven't changed. I know it's right now a 6-point gap. If the hatchet we're expecting drops and South Africa deducted 3 points, then it becomes a 3-point gap, which means you can eclipse South Africa by winning the game in South Africa, probably in Johannesburg. But it's still the quest still remains the same. You know, the expectation still remains the same, which is win both games. Win both games. Because even if you have just 3 points and you win one and you draw one or lose one, you're still trailing. You know, so you have to go into the game with the mindset that you're going to win both. That's how I say it. You have to win both. You have to win both games. That should be the mindset. The Rwanda game, you know, for me, I don't know how you want to do it, but Victor Osimhen will start that game for sure. And like I said earlier on top of the video, when we started this stream, what's his face now? Eric Chelle. Whatever you do, keep things simple. Keep things simple. Do not experiment. Do not play players out of position. It makes no sense. I know we live in this era right now where playing players out of position means you're a high class, high level, high IQ coach. But we don't want that right now. It's not going to help anyone right now. So Stanley Wabali starts in goal. And I have to say this before I go, Maduka Okoye is missing off this list. I think the ban is still there. So advice from Hugo, the Red Cap guy. What I want to say is, football players, even if you earn £10,000 a week, it's still more than what every regular person earns, right? If you want to earn more money, why not invest in IP, invest in tech, invest maybe in a podcast, as opposed to all this whatever. But let's leave that aside. So Stanley Wabali for me should start in goal, and then central defense, because you're going with the 4-4-2, you're going with a back four. Then William Troost-Ekong should be at the heart of that defense alongside Calvin Bassey, or you could go with Calvin Bassey and Iwobi as the centre back pairing. Right back, Olua Aina should be at right back. No excuses about that. I don't want to see any weird thing. Left back, you go with Bruno Yemachi or Felix Agu. And Felix Agu, for me, has been super impressive. He's shown that, given the opportunity, I'm ready to keep the other guy on the bench. Unity Cup, I know we say it's Jamaica. He showed himself, came up trumps. The way he played, the commander of that role, he was excellent, in my opinion. So, fair play to have him on there. For me, either he starts or Bruno Yemachi starts at that left back position. Then, in front of them, if you're going with the 3-1-2 formation, I would go with Uche Santos, Rafael Onyedika, and maybe Frank Onyeka to be the three guys there. And then maybe the 10. So the 10, depending on how you want to use it. Maybe you go with Iwobi, the 10, or you go with Ademola Lookman in that 10 role, behind the two strikers. So you could play your Victor Boniface and Victor Osimhen and have them pair up. Or you could even start with Tola Rokodari and Victor Osimhen, because we all know Victor Osimhen more starts. There's no if, buts, or maybe. If he's fit, he starts. He scored his first goal of the season for Galatasaray in the Turkish Super League. So top marks for that one. So let me know the starting lineup you want to see. Let me know the people you want to see play in this game. How do you want to see the game start? It's just a couple of days away. So 6th September and 9th September, just not far off. I think it's this weekend, or I think up a week. So how do you want to see this team, start? How do you want to see? Who would you even want to take off this list if you have to? If you had the power to take someone off this list, who would you take off the list? So who would you take off the list? For me, I've given the names I would take off the list. And then if I were to add any name to this list, I would be looking to add Philippe Botele. For sure. I'll be looking to add Philippe Botele on this list. Now, for those of you that may not be aware of Philippe Botele's game, I did a video reacting to his skills and abilities. So if you want to check that out, you can check that out. So I'll just share this on here. So that's how you can. So you can check that out. So that's the video I did on Philippe Botele, because he is super special in my opinion. The Spurs are gonna beat up Arsenal Sunday after another hijack. So probably Spurs have taken over in Capie. And also, I've done a couple of videos. So the Victor Boniface thing, if you want to get more of my opinion around the deal, the whole medical thing, this is another video I did. You can check it out on there. It's on the channel. Victor Boniface and Afro Monster, the way he plays for Bayer Leverkusen. So that's someone you can always check. You can check the video, have a look, and let me know what you think about that video. Now, we're coming back to We're coming back to the list, the NFF list, this Tobago squad list. What do you think? What names you want added? What names do you feel should be taken off this list? So I'll give you my own rundown. Let me know what you think. And then, of course, we have to speak about Eric Chelle and the Chan, Nations Cup. How you played with the team, and the team ended up losing. I think fell out at group stage, which is just crazy to me, man. And that's the problem. I don't know if he's the one with the issue or is the NFF with the issue, right? You got your best striker. That's for the Chan. You got your best striker in Anas, right? The highest goal scorer in the league, in the MPFL, with 18 goals or thereabout. And then you don't play him. And then you play someone with 5 goals. What sense does that make? So I just hope he doesn't mess about with the selection, with his team setup in this game. Now, there's a video I want to share with you on here, because that's basically how I feel about this channel, what I want to achieve with this channel and the community I'm trying to build on through this channel to lift up sports everywhere, Nigerian sports especially, and Nigerian football players, the entire footballing community. So I'll share this video with us, and then I'll be back to continue, with the show. So very soon the video will be back. I'll get the video up for you guys very soon. So just patience with me. So okay, let's go. So I'll just share my screen so I can share that video with you. Let's share that video with you. So share now, and we'll yeah.
To be a part of a fun and supportive community of like-minded people, to stand the chance of participating in fun and engaging game shows. Join the Ugamadi Football Channel community to be a part of a fun and supportive community of like-minded people, to stand the chance of participating in fun and engaging game shows, and the opportunity to win life-changing prizes. So come on now, why don't you join us now?
Yeah, so I'm back. So the Ugamadi Football Channel community, there's a WhatsApp group for it. If you want to be part of the group, just let me know and I'll tell you how you can join the group. And so essentially for me, it is to build up a community of people who love football, who love Nigerian game, and want to see you grow, and want to grow themselves in and around the game. If you want to be panelists on this show, that be where you go in. If you want to get behind the scenes update as well on things that are coming up on the channel, that's where you join as well. You want to be part of exciting giveaways that we're planning for this channel. You can join that community and we can grow together in that way. So I'll look at some of the chats. So Spurs are going to beat up Arsenal Sunday after the hijack. Thoughts of Manchester United versus Fulham. So I'll just quickly say that although we're talking about fully Nigerian football today, but Spurs, if you snooze, you lose. If you snooze, you lose. That's the way the transfer market is right now. If you play around, you mess about, rather than getting your deals done, some other club will steal your dinner. That's it. Simple as that. Fulham United, their formation is broken. What's his face now? Ruben Amorim wants to play a particular style of formation, a particular style of play, and doesn't have the tools to play that formation, especially in midfield. So there's this Nigerian player that is heading to Wolves, that may be heading to Wolves because we've got links linking him to Wolves, Uche Crisantos. He should be, Manchester United should look to get him. £20 million. That's easy change for a club like Manchester United. But Ruben Amorim wants to stick with, Bruno Fernandes in midfield, in a two-man midfield. That's just stuff that either nightmares or comedies are made of. So playing Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro in the heart of a two-man midfield is just crazy to me. Well, if they want to win, they know what to do. If they don't want to win, they keep on with what they're doing. So that's it. So thanks, Hasim Amir. Thanks for your contributions. So back to what we're talking on here about the squad for the Nigerian Super Eagles. Thoughts and opinions on it. Thoughts and opinions on the names on there. those people who love Al Hassan used to be on there. For me, it's a bit strange seeing him on there. And Akko Adams and Terry Murphy. If you had to choose, who would you have off that list? Who would you have off that list? Let me know. Want to know your thoughts and opinions on that one. Sorry, I just checking out something. Yeah. So who would you want on the list? Who would you want off that list? For me, I've given the names I want off the list. If you're talking about names, I would rather add to that list, or if you take out whoever I want to take out, who I would add to that list. So for me, I will add Philip Otele to that list. It just makes sense. It just makes a lot of sense to have him on that list. And then look at midfield. Who do you really want to add on there? That's a head scratcher for me. I think there's one name, of course. I always talk about the player. For some reason, people don't value him. He has a unique set of skills, like the guy I'm taking. But Ebenezer Kinsimiro, Nigeria needs that sort of player that can help the game flow, that can help the game do this. This is my crazy way of dancing here. But that's what the team needs, that can help coordinate play. Because there are some games Nigeria has dropped points in that were just because he didn't have that person in midfield to control the game. So for me, Ebenezer Kinsimiro is super unique. He should be there for sure, 100%. He should be there because he has that unique skill, that unique ability. There's another young kid at Chelsea, but he's very young now, so I'm not sure ready for Super Eagles, but maybe on the 20 teams or thereabout. Emenalo, Landon Emenalo, that can give you that tap, help control midfield. Those are the kind of midfielders we are missing. And I think Ebenezer Kinsimiro is that kind of player. And the thing about him is he's an unfair player. Just like I would say Reece James at Chelsea is an unfair player because he's strong, he's spacey, you can't outmuscle him, he has quality, he has technique, he can cross the ball, right? So he's unfair. Ebenezer Kinsimiro is unfair as well because usually when you have players that can, that control games, they're not physically strong. Tony Cruz, good on the ball, coordinate play, but he's not super powerful. But Ebenezer Kinsimiro is bold. He can give you that tip-tappy, let the game flow, and he's super strong on the ball as well. So he's the kind of player I think we are missing in this midfield. And it's a name I want to take off. I'm not going to say it, you know it, but take away any name you want to take off from that midfield and add Ebenezer Kinsimiro to it. You say he's not a starter. Yeah. The thing that I would say about Ebenezer Kinsimiro is this. Okay? I want you all to work with me on this one, right? Now, if you had any other person that can do what he does naturally in the Super Eagles, I would say, okay, fair play. Let that player that can do what he does cook. You say he's not playing. He just joined Pisa. He's joined his new club on loan from Inter Milan. So it's strange if he's not playing. So if you had someone that can help control the game, because let's face it, that game versus Zimbabwe was crying out for someone that can control midfield. And when you look at the team, you've got players with different sort of qualities, but that guy that can control play, pop the ball about, wasn't there. So if I'm to add any name in that midfield, probably he's the name that I add. Probably his name I add there. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on that one. Treasure Christopher has said Ebenezer is not a starter in his club. He just joined a new club from Inter Milan on loan again. They joined Pisa. So let's see how that all shapes up. For me, we're lacking in that area. Hopefully, we score a lot of goals that 10 minutes, 15 minutes to the end of the game doesn't really matter. You know, Bruno really wants Saudi. So Hassim says Bruno really wants Saudi. I don't think so. He cares about Manchester United now. I don't think he cares about Manchester United now. Yeah, well, even if he cares, even if Bruno Fernandes cares so much about Manchester United, it doesn't matter because he doesn't have the natural tools to play in Amorim's midfield. So just while we're on here, I know we're all talking about Nigerian football. If you want to be part of a discussion about the Premier League, the English Premier League, you support Chelsea, you support Arsenal, support Liverpool, you support Spurs. Spurs, wow, I just say that word. Whatever team you support, this is the channel for you. You come on here, we'll have different panels where we react to Premier League games, to Champions League games as well. So, and of course, on the 20 AFCON that'll be coming up in October, we'll be talking and reacting to games that will be played in that tournament. So you can be on here as well. And like I said, to get different updates that'll be coming up on this channel, join the Uga Madu Football Channel community on WhatsApp, and you're in for some good stuff. So then what formation would you go with? Even I've given you guys formation I would like to go with for that game. What would you like to go with? What formation would you want to go with? How would you want Eric Chelle to set up? You go with a 4-4-2. I go with a 4-4-2-4 all out attack. For me, want to see attacking football, want to see goals. I just want to see players play where they're comfortable. Because for me, that's how you judge players. And I maintain this energy for any club I have anything to do with. For Chelsea, I say it. Have your players play in the rightful position. Don't have a fullback playing in midfield and then complain when he can't hit a pass, like Tony Cruz, or when he can't control midfield like Redondo. So play players in the rightful position and let's see who's really good. The same thing for the Super Eagles going into these games. I want to see players in their rightful position. Victor Boniface, pair him up with Victor Osimhen. Play a 10 close to him. Olaina, right back. No questions about that. Bruno Yamachi, left back. I don't want to see any mix-up, any experiment. I don't want to see a mixture of chemicals, right? Centre back, Calvin Bassey, Troost-Ekong. Or Calvin Bassey, Igor Ubu. Or even Igor Ubu and Troost-Ekong. That's what I want to see in this game. Players in their rightful positions and all out attacking. From the first 10, 15 minutes, I want to see goals coming in. And then when you've got the goals you need, learn to shut up shop. Learn to shut up shop. You keep attacking. 5 minutes to go. Close it up. Tie everything up. Then wait to play on the break. Don't leave yourself open. That's what cost Nigeria the Zimbabwe game. And for me, expectations to remain the same. Expectations still remain the same for me, because even if South Africa still have 6 points, or if they deducted 3 points, you still have to go to stand a chance to qualify. Super Eagles of Nigeria need to go into that game, those 2 games, or need to leave both games with 3 points apiece. That's 6 points from both games. There's no, we draw one, we win one. No. You go to those games, you win them, and then you're level on points with South Africa. You have your destiny in your own hands. So that's what I want to see from this team. So the link to the chat is up there. To join the call is up there. You can click on it and join it, and let's have a discussion. So that's my just opinions on that one. And let's talk about a bit of transfer news relating to Nigerian players. We heard about Fulham being interested in Philip Otele and Samuel Chukwueze. So I think it would be a good move for either of them, I think. It would be a really good move for either of them, in my opinion, especially if they get to play in their favorite position, or maybe if they could sign both. I think Philip Otele will be an absolute steal for any club in the Premier League. Absolute steal. And probably he'll be on some crazy low wages and crazy low transfer value. Maybe something like 8 to 7 million, I don't know, 20 million euros, something crazy like that. You know, at Chelsea, I'll prefer Philip Otele to Garnacho. I would. I just would. I just would. I don't know what the Nigerian Arsenal fans, Nigerian, Liverpool fans on here, Nigerian Manchester United fans on here. I would just take Philip Otele over Garnacho. 100%. I would. 100% I would. And then we've heard about Uche Crisanto's link to Wolves. That's another one I think is an absolute steal. Absolute steal. Absolute steal. And when I look at clubs like Manchester United that play with two-man midfield, and you don't go for Crisantos and you want to do that Bruno Fernandes thing, fair play. And Chelsea, if you're looking to sign another midfield, he's your guy. But I'd like to see him in the Premier League. Let's see what he does, with that transfer. And then Tola Arukudare links to Napoli. For me, I think footballing wise, I think that would be a brilliant move for him. I think that would be a brilliant move because under Conte, you're a striker, a number 9, a big, fast striker who you would score. If you don't score, that means you're useless as a striker because you will be fed. Chances will be created for you time and time again. You have those passes coming in quickly. We saw it at Chelsea. We saw it with Lukaku at Inter Milan. We saw it with Diego Costa at Chelsea. So those chances will be created for you, right? So that'll be, in terms of footballing wise, that'll be a good move. But then you have the Napoli boss you have to deal with. And that's why I say, go with your lawyer. Get your lawyers around you. Get your agents around you. Let them read the agreement. Every comma, every full stop, every detail, should be poured over. Whatever you want in that contract as your exit strategy or whatever should be there. So and then Uche Crisanto's Wolves, that's an absolute steal. I said absolute steal, in my opinion. And then when you look down the list, Ademola Lookman, what's going on? I don't understand. Ademola Lookman, Arsenal, your left side is just rotten. Nothing happens on the left side. Noni Madueke has come in and is a bit decent, no, but we want a world-class left-sided winger that comes in, produces goals, assists on a consistent basis. And Ademola Lookman is just there. And you're like, oh, we're not going to sign him. Like you're doing this. Oh, we're not doing it. We can't sign him. When he'll give you goals, he'll give you assists. And he doesn't make any waves. So what is the reason you're not going to sign Ademola Lookman? I don't get this. I'm beginning to think there's something wrong with a lot of these clubs. It's like they'd rather not have their noses than smell something rotten. I don't know. So Ademola Lookman is a name that's just crazy. And the fact that his agents apparently are offering him to different clubs. Offering to different clubs is just crazy to me. That he has to be offered to clubs. That's just amazing to me that he has to be offered to clubs like some useless player or something, or a player that has something wrong with him. I just don't get it. Ademola Lookman will be a good winger any time of the day, in a good addition to any club. Once again, I come to Chelsea, I say they want to get Garnacho, hell bent on getting Garnacho. Hell bent on getting Garnacho. And then like Ademola Lookman are just there, and his wages as well, 44,000 euros. I know for me that would be crazy, crazy money. Who knows? Maybe I shut down this channel, but I'm just joking. But still, his wages are crazy low in footballing terms, like 40 odd thousand euros a week. Even if you double it up, he's still within the so-called wage structure at Chelsea. And given his production, and he will allow the likes of Gittins to mature behind him, and Tariq George will probably want to stay, because what people don't get is when you sign someone who is 21 and you have a winger who is 19, it kind of sees it like, I don't have any chance to beat out this guy. But when you have someone who is 27, 28, that 19-year-old feels like in a year or two, if I go on a year's loan, come back, this guy will be done in a couple of years. So that's it. And then you look at the strikers after Rukodari linked to Napoli, fair play. That one I talked about it already. Boniface, for me, I think Newcastle United, hey, I don't know what you're looking for. This could be your Villarreal moment. Newcastle United, this can be your Villarreal moment. Bournemouth turned their noses up at Nicholas Jackson. Oh, he has something that's so inside. We can't figure it out. It's so inside, so we're not signing him. He went to Villarreal, ball. He came to Chelsea. He was half decent. And it wasn't his injury that was. And I think Victor Boniface is a much better player than Nicholas Jackson. Far better player than Nicholas Jackson. So for Newcastle United, whoa, Boniface. And when I look at the valuation of Nigerian players, I scratch my head. I say, is it Scrabble? Is it Scrabble that these Nigerians are playing while the other strikers are football players? Valued about 25 million euros. Wow. While the likes of Sesko are 80 million euros, Newcastle United wanted to offer. It's just crazy to me, right? So for me, I tell you, man, Newcastle United, Victor Boniface, as your striker, and you have Gordon close to him, you have Elanga close to him, supplying him, combining with him, brother. This could be your moment, man. But I know everyone right now will be like, oh, those injuries that we don't know where they come from. We can't even say 100% that they're going to reoccur. In fact, we can't even say with 20% accuracy that the injury will reoccur. But he has surgery. Let's not sign him. But footballing wise, brilliant signing. Victor Boniface will be absolutely brilliant. I'm telling you, absolutely brilliant in my humble opinion. So I want to thank everyone who's been on the channel, who's been watching, who's subscribing, sharing this video, the people who love content like this. It's been super amazing having you on here. You've been super, super special. Your chats, your comments, Asim, Treasure, Christopher, Abiodun, Akindele, Yomi Yusuf, or Yomi Yus, if that's your name. And last night, I know South African guy here. I know he wants to come and cause some commotion here. Don't worry. When we get to play, it will be fire, el fuego. Don't worry. So thank you all for being on here on the show, supporting, your comments, subscribing, watching till the end. Top marks to you all. And I'll see you on yet another video. Do have a splendid